Dr. Jules Montagnier, Fine Cosmetics, of new Poof Body Powder, and originator of Stop-It, the nation's first and most popular spray deodorant in the amazing plastic bottle that you just squeeze and poof, there goes perspiration. Presents television's gayest game, What's My Line?
And now let's meet our What's My Line panel of well-known personalities whose lines you already know. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in the New York Journal American and papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, the noted columnist and author whose latest book is the very funny Laughter Incorporated, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
Thank you, Dorothy. On my left is a glamorous lady whose charming phiz, like that of Dorothy Kilgallen, beams out at you from a double-page spread in the current issue of Life, Miss Arlene Francis.
Didn't mention the girl in the middle, eh? Say Emerson, I'll mention it. And on my left, our favorite comedy panelist, Hal Block.
And on my left, my favorite news correspondent, a man who should have known that Truman wasn't going to run when Margaret hooked up with Durante.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What's My Line, presented by Stop-It. Once again tonight, we're going to have some folks from here and there before our cameras, all of them with interesting and varied occupations, and all of them hoping to give our friends on the panel a run for the money. They hope to carry home some prizes. We'll also have a famous guest challenger before the panel a little bit later in the show, but right now, to start things rolling, it's time for our experts to meet our challenger, whose job they'll have. Will you sign in, please, ma'am? It's very nice to see you, Miss Brody. We'll stay here to meet you, Mr. Seth, will you? Say, that's a real lovely orchid you have there, you know?
That was given me by a very special friend.
Well, I'm very happy to hear it. I hope this is a special occasion and you have lots of fun. Will you tell us, first of all, where you live?
New York City.
In New York. Well, then you haven't had too far to travel so far tonight, and our friends on the panel would like to know you a little better. So would you walk down in front of the panel for me, please?
How are you? Well, what is the name? Now that you wrote it.
Mrs. Brody, hello.
Mrs. Brody, I want to look at that pink ribbon.
I've worn a pink ribbon for the last 60 years.
All right, Miss...
Come on, I have.
I just want to shake hands, too.
You look better in
Mrs.
your
Brody,
orchid.
would you come over here now? Would you come over here and sit down next to me, please? Will you
sit
come
down
over
next to
here
Mrs.
now and
Daly?
sit down next to me? That's it. Just come on over here and sit down, will you? Be comfortable. Now, I tell you what we're going to do, Mrs. Brody. On the basis of your handwriting, what you said, come up real because you're going to have to use that microphone. We're going to give the members of the panel one free guess as to what your line may be, and we'll begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
Well, I think obviously she paints primitives.
Mr. Sir.
I think she's a fan dancer.
Miss Francis.
Judging by her handwriting, I think she must specialize in writing the Lord's Prayer on the head of a pin.
Mr. Block.
Thank you.
I think driller.
No, you're all wrong, but let our viewers at home have a further look at Mrs. Brody. At the same time, we'll tell them what her line is. But panel, you've got to work. Here's how the game works, Mrs. Brody. The panel will ask you questions to be answered yes or no. And each time that you give them a no answer, it's going to cost them $5, and we'll keep the record up here. 10 no's and $50, they've lost the game. All right, we'll give them one more bit of help. Mrs. Brody is salaried, and with that, we'll begin the general questioning with Mr. Sir.
Mrs. Brody, do you perform services of any kind?
I do.
Is there a product involved in what you do?
Well, yes, to quite some extent.
Do you yourself have something to do with the making or manufacture of this product?
I certainly do.
Is it a product that can be used equally by men and women?
Why? Yes, might say male and female.
Don't
Male
you
and
give 'em
female.
so much help yesterday.
Oh, male and female. I see. Well, then this isn't a product that I would wear myself. Is that correct?
I think you'd look rather ridiculous.
Yes, it is a product that you would not use yourself.
If you gave me rather a hint, would you say that this was a product that was used on animals of some sort?
Well, to some extent, yes.
Would they be domesticated animals?
Would you give a short definition of domesticated here so nobody gets hurt?
Well, certainly not a wife. Domesticated in the sense that they're tame and can be found somewhere around the home.
Found somewhere around the house about one down and 9 to go.
The one place that I'm afraid...
Don't tell them any more. All right, Miss Francis.
Is this animal something, then, that one might find outdoors?
I think.
Yes.
Rather.
Is it a four-legged animal?
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy. Is it an animal larger than a dog?
Well, a little bit like.
The way you said a little bit larger, I have a feeling it's a rhinoceros. No, but it is a large animal on the size of, let us say, a horse or a rhinoceros? Or an elephant in that category?
Well, it might be classed as such. Yes.
Well, I can't ignore the ooh, so I must ask you if it has anything to do with the elephant kingdom.
I'm afraid it
right.
does.
It does.
To quite
Now,
some extent.
do you, by any chance, have anything to do with some part of the elephant? Some special part?
Oh, no.
Oh, we work on the whole elephant, huh?
Yeah.
You're a little woman to do all that.
I never believe in doing things in half.
Well, 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Block.
I kind of hate to confine this to the because I don't want to be partisan in politics. But,
Oh, you shouldn't
by
leave doors
any
open
chance-
like that, Hal. You really shouldn't.
you by any chance have anything to do with training an elephant?
Well, not today,
Not-
but in former years.
Not today. That is not the line now. So that's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Does what you do to the elephant improve its appearance?
Greatly.
Is it something that has to do with the elephant when the elephant is on parade or being seen by the public?
Certainly does. To
Is
great extent.
Is it something that the elephant would wear?
Well, yes. He wouldn't look well lying down in it, though.
I have seen elephants in very pretty little tutus and other sort of costumes. Do you, by any chance, have something to do with the making of costumes for elephants?
Mm-hmm.
When they're all
Certainly
dressed
does.
up? Do you sew on the costumes?
Oh, yes.
You are then a couturier for elephants?
Beg pardon?
A couturier for elephants. And I think we're going to have to agree it's right. Mrs. Brody embroiders elephant blankets.
Oh.
86 years old.
86 years old.
And she spends all of her time doing this elaborate embroidery on the elephant blankets that the elephants wear when they're on their best bib and tucker, I guess you'd say, wouldn't you?
I'm sure the elephants will always remember her.
I'm sure they will, too. Well, you got a pretty good prize, but I think above everything else you had a good time being with us, and certainly it was wonderful having you as our guest on What's My Line. Good night. And now let's see what we can do with another challenger. Will you sign in, please, ma'am? Dolores Belcher. Are you? Miss Belcher. Will you tell us, first of all, Miss Belcher, where you live?
Port Jervis, New York.
Did you say this was Miss Belcher?
Miss Belcher, that's right. Our friends in the panel get curious already. They want to know you better. Will you walk down in front of the panel, please?
Hello.
May I see your hand, please? short fingernails.
All right, Miss Belcher, will you come over here now and sit down next to me, please? And on the basis of your handwriting, what you said, the close look that our friends have had at you, we give them one free guess as to what your line may be, and we'll begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she plays a harp.
Plays a harp, Mr. Sir.
I think she rides on the elephants after Mrs. Brody puts the blankets on.
Miss Francis.
I think she designs hats.
Mr. Block.
I think she probably manufactures calendars, and I'd like to be one of her dates.
Oh, no. I'm afraid you're all wrong. We'll let our viewers at home have a further look at Miss Belcher, and at the same time, we'll tell them what her line is. Panel, this ought to give you some fun. You all know how to play the game, and you know how. You heard me explain it, so let's give them one more bit of help, shall we? We'll tell them that you are salaried, and with that, we'll begin the general questioning with Mr. Block.
Do you deal with a product?
Yes.
Is it a product that's used in everyday life?
Yes.
Would I ever come in contact with this product?
Possibly. Him? Sure. What's this?
I hope this has to do with human beings. Does it apply to one sex more than the other?
Yeah, I would say it applies more to one sex than another, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it something that's worn?
Yes.
Is it used by the feminine sex?
Yes.
Is it something that maybe you could hold in your hand?
Yes.
And they wear it?
Yes.
Is it something that you wouldn't want to just wear that, nothing else when you're outside?
The answer to that one is definitely, says Miss Belcher. Go ahead, Mr. Block.
Is it something you might put on in... Why don't I shut up? Is it something you might put on in the bedroom?
Yes.
Is it something that's worn, let's say, from the shoes up?
From the shoes up?
I mean, something above the shoes?
Is it something worn above the shoes? Yes.
Something worn above the waist? Is it something that's worn above the neck? Is it something worn above the mouth?
No. One down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
It's below the mouth, but above the neck? I'm just reviewing.
Above the neck, but not above the mouth.
It's not above the mouth,
That's right. It's not above.
but it is above the neck.
Yeah. Don't keep this up. You'll get me confused.
Not any more confused than I am. Is it something that has to do with improving the appearance?
Yes.
Would you consider it a beauty aid?
Yes.
Is it something you'd wear more often at night than in the daytime?
No. Well, now, wait a minute. We got a little problem.
Well,
Will you let us have a small conference?
Yes, I could clarify it if you wanted me to.
well, we could dance in the meantime.
Well, I think so, too. Yes, 2 down and 8 to go. On the basis of a question asked, is it worn more at night than the daytime? The answer is no, and we will now have Mr. Sir.
Miss Belcher, you said this is not worn above the mouth. Is it worn on or in the mouth? Is it worn inside the mouth? Well, I mean on the teeth, something to do with, is it anything at all to do
On
with...
the teeth? No, that makes it 3 down and 7 to go. Miss Francis, just let him go
Is
long
this
enough.
something that you might put in your mouth and swallow?
But you wouldn't. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Block.
Well, we got it around the mouth at least, so we're lucky. Can we have a small count?
20 seconds for a count.
Ask if it's used on the mouth.
Lipstick or something.
No, why would you...
She said it isn't used
We
in...
have-
He uses it. How does he happen to use it?
He would come in contact with it.
Contact with it.
Come in
Hey! I think I see a light. Is it worn on the mouth?
Yes.
Are you wearing it now?
Yes.
Any questions? Is it lipstick?
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What does Miss Belcher have to do with lipstick?
Oh,
What does she
she's
have
a
to do with it?
tester.
Yes.
She looks adorable in it.
Agreed. But we're here to guess her line, remember?
Has she anything to do with the merchandising or the manufacture or something of it?
I guess we'll have to give it to him, yeah. That's right. Makes lipstick. Well, you got very well with the prizes. I also hope that you enjoyed yourself. It was nice to have you at What's My Line. Good night. Good to see you. And now, yes, dear?
I was just going to say I swallowed quite a lot of mine.
Do you?
Get it on your teeth, too.
I'm not an expert
You go out
on
with
this.
the wrong fella.
All right, now, before we introduce our mystery guest, here's some exciting news. Our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. And since our friends in the panel would recognize our famous guest on sight, we have provided them with blindfolds. Are they all in place, panel?
Yes.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, as you know...
You know, I didn't know Eisenhower would be here so fast.
As you know, in the case of our mystery celebrity, we dispense with all the usual preliminaries and get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
I gather that you're a well-known face to the public. Is that true?
Could be.
Are you in any form of show business?
What did it say?
Would you repeat the question, Miss Kilgallen?
Are you in any form of show business?
This could be debated.
Well, are you a performer of any kind?
That could be.
That could be, yeah.
Are you an actor?
That's 1 out of 9 to go, Mr. Sir.
Are you a singer?
He's saying yes and shaking his head, so I think
Saying
we'll
yes?
call that yes, Mr. Sir.
Do you burst into tears every time you burst into song? Only when hearing mine own record.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
You're not an actor. Are you a public figure of some kind? Would one
Would you tell us a little more what you mean by...
I mean, are you in public life, but sing about it once in a while? Like in politics or something?
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Block.
Are you employed?
They're paying for this, I guess.
I think we give you a yes on that, Mr. Block.
Well, you've been getting a lot of screams. Are you funny?
I won't let him say no on that. I would say that there are a great many people who think he's very, very funny. Or at least...
Are you married?
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see the day. Go on, Mr. Block.
You have 5 daughters?
5 daughters. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
The man is that.
When you do whatever it is you do, we've established, haven't we, that you appear before the public. People are watching you.
Yes, that's been established.
May I assume that the voice you're using now is not the voice which is most familiar to the general public?
That's not so. I use it often.
He uses it often, but we will yield the point, Miss Dorothy, that this is not the voice by which he
uses
is
that voice.
generally known to the public.
Do you ever talk as well as sing in doing what you do?
I go on at a great rate all day long. You just...
Are you associated with some other famous person in one of the things you do? Like a famous comedian?
Is he associated with a famous comedian in some of the things he does?
Yes.
You mean in his performing before the public being seen by saying, that's fine? All right, Mr. Stern.
When you do your specialty, is there usually a microphone somewhere near you?
A microphone?
Yeah.
I can't hear your answer.
Yes. Yes.
Would your singing come anywhere under the heading of crooning?
This one you're gonna.
See if I wouldn't call it that at all.
Yeah, I don't think you can. No, I don't think you can. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you a television personality?
This could be.
Are you also a radio personality?
Yeah.
That's the easy one. You've disguised your voice so many times, but I have a feeling you're a youngish man. Is that true?
Extremely.
You are a young man?
Oh, yes.
A little while earlier, you said that you performed all, whatever you did all the time. So that I imagine you're on more than one feature show. Is that correct? I mean, you do more than one show a week?
We'll be with you in just a minute. Yeah, I guess. You do more than one, don't you?
Hey, Daly, can I disqualify myself? I got to look at this guy.
No, you can't.
I had to say
Now, Miss Dorothy.
What happened?
I haven't heard the last answer.
Well, we're going to give it to you right away quick. As a matter of fact, I just wanted to warn you, we have only about 3 minutes to go, so you all better get going. The answer to your question, does our guest appear on more than one feature show, is yes.
He does appear on more than one featured show.
Yes.
Would this personality be on every day?
You mean 7 days a week?
Well, you know, I mean every radio day or 5 days a week.
5 days a week we would give you.
Is it... Oh, well, I was going to ask you if it was Dave Garroway.
You want that no written out, or would you have it with semaphore? 7 down and 3 to go, and we come to Miss Kilgallen.
You know, I'm very glad I can watch.
Are you well known for your handling of commercial products?
Yes.
Are you also interested in ladies' necklines?
A proper answer to that might be, who isn't? But the answer is yes.
I meant notably. Do you play, if you'll excuse the expression, a musical instrument?
This woman is knowing who I am without saying so.
Who is it?
Are you Arthur Godfrey?
Yes.
There's one thing that I'm going to say for Arthur, if I may. I know that he would want to have said it himself if he'd stayed with us. He is very active in the current drive for the Red Cross. In fact, he is the chairman of the entertainment division for this area of the country. I think all of you know that the Red Cross is something that we fall back upon, every one of us, in the moments of greatest stress and travail. They need your support very badly now. They're raising their annual sums of money to carry on their work, such as the work that was recently done in the tornado area. If you haven't done your bit for the Red Cross so far this year, please get up and do something about it tomorrow. And next week at the same time, our panel of experts will be asked, "What's my line?" by this man. Would you know what his occupation is? Could you spot his line? For the answers to these questions and a good many others, be sure to be with us again next Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when once again Stopette invites you to play What's My Line? For other localities, check your newspaper for the date and time of our weekly series. And until then, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Bennett.
Good night, Arlene.
Good night, Al.
What was the name of that last fellow again?
Smith. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network.